Your Yanks have some issues.
Well, listen, you lose 2 games in a row. All right, it's a little frustrating. You lose 3, you got my attention. I don't like the way the Yankees look right now at all. The Yankees do, though, have 12 wins. Nobody else in baseball has more. But that doesn't mean that there's not problems. I don't disagree. I don't think Rodon's as big of an issue as you think he is. I thought he threw the ball well last night. He just couldn't put guys away. And if you watch the foul ball.
Yeah.
But his velo was there, slider was tight, whatever. They didn't win the game. Gleyber is on my way. He's on my last nerve already. I'll get to him in a second. Yankees have 2 guys hitting. That's the problem. Like the Yankees, this little losing streak, I don't think it's really because the Yankees pitching has been so substandard. It's because the Yankees can't hit. If Volpe doesn't crank out 2 or 3 hits, and Soto doesn't do the same thing, Yanks are impotent.
Well,
and there's a reason, Sal, when we went, remember about a month ago, and you kept trying to get me to do it, and I didn't do it. I didn't take the bait. I said, listen, I want to win the World Series, but it's not a World Series or bust kind of season because I've got to see what they have. And I knew that they had some issues.
But you've been saying they're the best team in the American League, even last week.
No,
who's better than them in the American League?
Up until the last couple of days they have been. Yeah. And now they've kind of, they've hit a little bit of a skid. Rizzo looks old. I mean, did you see Stanton running? Did you see Giancarlo Stanton running from third to home plate?
But this is the same guy that you're saying, Stanton may be back. You, of all people, who are the biggest Stanton detractor.
Well, not as a base runner. He's better at the plate than I thought he would be. The Yankees, to me, are like every other team in baseball. They're a little flawed. I think that they are it depends the night that you watch them. And I don't know that you can say this about every major league team, probably 8 or 9 or maybe 10. You flip them on the right night, they look like they're going to win the World Series. You flip them on another night, and they feel like a wild card team that's going to be up and down the majority of the season. I think they're a lot closer to a World Series team, don't get me wrong, than like a fringe wild card team, because Garrett Cole hasn't even taken a step on the rubber yet, and his throwing regimen's coming along nicely here. But, I mean, I don't know, you want me to go nuts? You want me to flip it? They lost 3 games in a row. Big deal. Yanks are good.
No, but that's why we talked about this yesterday. We're saying, at what point do we get to with this team that you start to have some concerns? I brought up the level of concern with Aaron Judge. Was that last week? Or I think that was late last week. Yeah, it was late last week. We talked about the concerns with Aaron Judge. Here we are, fast forward, another almost week since then. Judge is still hitting a $182 and has been struggling. Now, you're talking about the offense. I'm talking about the pitching. Well, Garrett Cole's on his way back. That's great. He's not back yet. We're still mid-April here. Carlos Rodon's supposed to be the number 2 guy in that rotation. He goes 4 innings last night in a game that you wanted to see him go out there and build off of what he's done. He faced a good, tough lineup in their building in a spot where the Yankees need him, and predictably so, he goes out there and walks the ballpark and just doesn't have enough to get the job done and takes the loss. I mean, it's just not good enough. Rodon, they're paying to be a top guy, he's not a 4th starter. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to be a number 2 starter, so I expect more from him. Then you look at the rest of that lineup. You're worried about the offense. I mean, if you're worried about the offense on top of the pitching, then maybe they're not, in fact, that good. Behind those top 3, and by the way, I'm giving you Judge, who's hitting a $182. I'm giving you him. Behind those guys, I do have major concerns about that lineup. I think the Yankees are good. I certainly don't think they're a fringe wildcard team. They are a clear playoff team. But how good are they? I don't think they're as good as they started out the season playing.
If I had to rank the things that are alarming about the Yankees so far in order of fear, I'd probably put defense first. Yankees are kicking the ball all over the yard.
And don't tell the manager. He doesn't know that.
I know. He said that they look pretty good. The Yankees, by the way, have had only 2 games this season without an error. 2. I mean, that's sloppy. And I think that the hitting for me is second. Now, you could flip that. You can say hitting 1, defense 2. I stand by it. I mean, we see it differently. I saw a guy, Rodon, who battled. Didn't have it last night, threw a ton of pitches, wasn't economical, didn't put guys away. Toronto battled.
Right,
but he
so how do we
didn't
see it
quit.
differently?
Because he didn't quit.
And
I think Sal, the biggest issue I think that you had with Rodon coming into this season, you weren't sure if he was built for New York. And by the way, you weren't alone.
Right.
Would he be in good shape? Was the stuff still there? Did he have the stones and the fortitude to flourish here? I believe that he does. Like last night wasn't a guy who packed it in and wilted, and because he didn't have his A stuff, he could have. I actually think the fact that he gave them a chance to win by battling. Again, I'm not saying he was good. Please don't misunderstand that. You should never throw 101 pitches over 4 innings. It's ridiculous.
He gave up 3 runs in 4 innings.
I understand that, but it could have been. I think if it was the Rodon from a year ago, it would have been 7 or 8. I'm not worried about Rodon. They need to start hitting.
Yeah.
There's two guys who are hitting the ball. Gleyber Torres, we always do this, whether it's Alonso, Lindor, obviously Judge,
I mean,
Soto.
he scored 4 runs, BT.
I understood. Gleyber Torres is on pace for 18 RBIs. Doesn't have a home run yet. I don't even know if he's got a he's got 1 or 2 doubles. He looks awful. Now, we can scream and we can shout and we can certainly identify some of these Yankee issues, and we're doing a little bit of everything. But I think it comes down to this. What do you do about it? And I think that's the more intelligent conversation. Because Rizzo's been an issue at first base. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Because there's nothing to do. Gleyber Torres, been a mess at second base. What are you going to do about it starting today? Nothing. Maybe when DJ LeMahieu comes back, and he's going to start a rehab pretty soon, maybe that's an answer. What are you going to do behind the dish, which has been an issue? Right now, nothing, because there's no internal option. So I'm all about acknowledging that the Yankees suddenly look very different. I'm granting you that. But rather than beat the horse to a bloody pulp here and just, waste everybody's time regurgitating what we know has been a big issue, they're not catching the ball. They're not hitting well enough. What are the answers? That's what I'm more interested in. What is it maybe? Is it maybe flipping Soto and Judge? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's an answer myself. Who do you think has a better lineup, Blue Jays or the Yankees?
The Blue Jays or the Yankees? I'd say the Yankees,
right,
but it's close. It's close. Toronto could hit a little bit, sure.
How did Kikuchi look against that Yankee lineup?
He looked very good. Yeah. He's also got pretty filthy stuff. Kikuchi's tough.
Oh, okay.
He's tough.
So would you say he looked better than Rodon?
Yeah.
Okay, but Rodon's supposed to be good. He's supposed to be better.
Hang on, but this is where you lose me.
I don't understand why you're not getting on Rodon.
Because I watched a guy whose four-seam fastball was 96 miles per hour. It wasn't last year. It's also a guy who's pitched very well this year so far. Came into last night with a sub-3 ERA.
I'm not saying okay, he's been okay through 3 games.
He hasn't been okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sub-3 is not okay. Sub-3 is terrific.
Right.
So, to me, I'm not saying Rodon was the answer last night. I just don't think he's as big a problem right now as you do.
Right, but I thought last night going in, and by the way, you and I had this conversation.
I wish he pitched better. I'm giving you that. I'm not saying he pitched well.
Now you could
You make it seem like you went 1 1/3. He gave up 9 hits with 7 runs and 2 home runs.
A starter went 4 innings. He gave up 3 runs. That's not good.
It's not. It wasn't good, but it wasn't embarrassing. It's called baseball. Yeah. Things happen.
He was bad in a spot where they needed him to be a stopper. They don't have a stopper. Look, maybe Marcus Stroman could be that guy today. I trust Stroman more than I do Rodon. Rodon is still a problem on top of what you said is a problem. The defense has been an issue, and the offense. I mean, I've been saying it all year long. Behind the top 3, and I'm giving you Judge, even though he's been struggling here. Behind the top 3, I don't trust anybody in that Yankee. Maybe Verdugo's the one guy I do trust down in the order. Anybody else? Stanton, no. Rizzo, no. And I know he had some bad luck last night, but still. Stanton, no. Rizzo, no. Torres, no. Trevino. I mean, Oswaldo's been good. If not for Oswaldo Cabrera, the Yankees had 6 wins.
Well, the answer is going to come at some point during the season, and that's going to be Jason Dominguez. In the meantime, you got to deal with this. You got to deal with it. And I don't love the lower third of the order. I don't. I said that going into the season. This is not a surprise to me. There's a reason why every time Sal tried to bait me and walk me into his little trap, which I saw coming a mile away.
The World Series
about the World Series or bust.
World Series or bust.
There's a reason why I kept telling everybody I'm not going that far because I know that they're a little bit flawed. And it took a few games, but we're seeing some flaws. Yeah. I'm not surprised.
And by the way, the Yankees' standards is different. Like nobody, even with the critiques, they're still better than a lot of other teams. There are no perfect teams out there. And you look at their record, it is what it is. But I do think the Yankees are more close to what you've been seeing over the last, let's say, 10-game span than it is over the beginning of the season.
But why is that? Why do you say that?
I think that they have serious flaws.
No, I'm not saying that there are no flaws, but what makes you come to the determination that the more recent version of the Yankees is a greater representation of who they are versus the first part where they look like they're going to win 105 games?
I don't think Rodon is very good.
Okay.
I still don't trust Stroman. Now, I need to see Cole get back and be the ace.
Rodon, Stroman.
Yeah. Right.
What else?
So, starting rotation. Put that there.
So starting pitching, got it.
Defense has been hideous.
Yep.
And the offense behind the top 3.
So pretty much every aspect of baseball.
Well, behind the top 3. I mean, their team, why do you think they were winning games in the beginning? The pitching was okay, but it was more
Well, they were clutch. They were playing great defense, gunning guys down at the plate. They were catching the baseball better. Volpe was terrific. A lot of things.
Soto, Cabrera. Those guys were carrying the Yankees.
Correct.
And your bullpen, you want to throw that in
there?
there?
Those are the 3 guys. You're right.
So I'm giving you the top three. Oswaldo's not going to do what he's done all year. And by the way, Volpe was playing at a ridiculous clip. So even though he's still on his way to superstardom, he's not going to hit 500. Like, we know that.
And the hope is that when he cools off, the other guys start heating up. That hasn't happened yet.
Correct.
He had a brutal night last night. Nobody did anything.
Well, Volpe and Soto come back down to earth a little bit, and Judge will pick it back up.
Well,
Right?
he's the guy. Yeah. I mean, let's just cut the nut here and I think get to the heart of the issue, because if the answer is what I think, like if your answer is my answer, then it's not nearly as grave as maybe some people are making it out to be. Do you think Judge has a massive season?
Massive season?
You know, a Judge season.
I think Judge is going to have a down season.
Okay.
Now, I don't think he's going to hit a $182.
I got you.
But I think Judge is going to have a. Do I think he's going to hit 300? No, I don't.
No, I don't think we talked about that yesterday. I don't think he's hit 3 either.
But that's usually what he does.
But he also doesn't start 180. So right. I do think, when you're almost at 100 at bats, which is, a little less than 20% of the season, you look at that, you do the math forward, it's about 16, 17%. There's enough, same with Lindor, just enough to maybe have some confidence and say, all right, I know this guy's going to get red hot, carry the team, crank out 9 bombs in July and maybe 11 in August, of course. But because it's almost 18% of the season in, roughly, it's going to be tough to get to 3 bills. I grant you that. But Aaron Judge is still going to be a superstar this season.
Okay.
I believe. And once that clicks in, and it can start today, it can start next month, I don't know. But when it comes, the Yankees will dominate people. When he doesn't perform well, you're going to have nights like this.
But now we're getting away from what was so appealing about the beginning of the season. What was the number one thing everybody was saying about the Yankees?
That if Judge is down, Soto can carry it.
Doesn't matter. Hey, you know what? They're not so reliant on Aaron Judge. Look at the Yankees going out there beating everybody and winning games without Aaron Judge doing what he normally does. And that was appealing about this team. And now it's getting back to, they need Aaron Judge to get going. BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire, remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires. From Connecticut to Maine, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Mike is in Hackensack, New Jersey. What's up, Mike?
BT, I have to agree with Sal on this. And, I've been quiet since the beginning of the season because we've been doing okay, but I got to tell you, I don't like Rodon. I agree, and I don't know why you're not concerned with him. Watching him last night.
Because he's pitched well outside of last night. That's why.
Yeah, I know that, but I never liked him.
Okay.
He didn't look confident on the mound last night. And let me tell you something. We need him to be an ace because we don't have one right now. And I'm with Sal. We have a lot of flaws. I've been calling. I've been. And
I know, Mike.
And it's enough. And listen, I don't like Stroman. And let me tell you, Glaber, I'm tired of him.
Oh, me too. I can't wait till he's gone.
He's got to go. He's a poor man's Cano. His decision-making last night throwing to third base was bad.
Ridiculous. I don't know that I can't remember the last time I saw a second baseman trying to make a play like that. And if you missed it, it's like a little tapper up the middle. He ranges to his right. Now, it was a pretty smooth-looking play. Problem was he was safe. Now, he was close. By the time Cabrera tagged him, I thought maybe he got the jersey, although I do think that they got the right call.
Still don't make that play, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go for that play, you must nail him. That's just that's more of a recognition thing and a reaction thing. The ball just popping out of his mitt on a steal from Trevino when the guy's clearly out. What in the world are you doing? He's not hitting, not fielding. He's completely lost, and that is the reason why he will eventually be an ex-New York Yankee. I would have traded him this winter. I said that for 2 years.
One thing is with him, it looks like he's best buddies with you-know-who.
Who?
Soto.
Who cares?
Well, what do you mean? Who cares? You want to keep Soto happy and have Soto be here.
Not to the detriment of my team.
I understand. I'm just saying that it does seem like those two have formed a bond.
Yeah.
Messing around in the dugout together, going to get their haircut together, whatever. You're going to trade Glaber now. First of all, they're not going to trade him.
No, I know. I'm saying that for a fact. But I would have traded. I've been on the record long. I would have traded him. And they're nuts if they give him an extension. There's no way.
He's a losing player. I'm sorry. I hate to say that.
On the bases, in the field,
up his rear end.
Too streaky in the batter's box, ain't it?
Yeah. Steve is calling from Secaucus. What's up, Steve?
Yeah, good morning. How you doing?
Good. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Steve. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm doing good. I'd like to talk about the Yankees hitting, especially Torres. All of a sudden, Torres is again becoming a home run hitter. Not a home run hitter. He's never been.
Yeah. He's got none, so it's not working if he's trying to transform into that.
Well, I mean, he did hit 39 or whatever it was, 38 home runs. A few years back.
One.
Well, you can't say he's
Put the ball in
never been
play,
a home
right?
run hitter
Yeah.
because at that point, BT, not that I ever thought he would be a 40 home run guy.
I thought he
regularly,
was going to be our 3-hitter for 10 years.
Right, he was supposed to
I
be
really
the star
did,
that maybe
yes.
we now think Volpe is going to be.
I thought the
that was
same
supposed
thing.
to be Gleyber Torres.
I thought he was the 3-hitter, Sal. I thought he was a stud.
Yeah. Let's talk about Volpe now, BT.
Yeah.
You know, I trust you. You're the only guy on the fan that I know is baseball, and I think knows baseball.
Well, that's
So I'm gonna talk to you about
definitely not true. I mean, I appreciate the
All right,
kind words
whatever,
about me, but that's not
okay.
true. Go ahead.
All right, whatever.
Go ahead.
So let's go back to Volpe, right?
Uh-huh.
Volpe goes through his whole life.
Steve
from the
can't
time he's
take
like
anybody
5 years
saying
old.
anything bad about his Yankees. Oh,
No, I want to hear the Volpe thing, though, Steve.
No, I'm not going to hang up.
No,
Nobody knows baseball because they question my Yankees. How
No,
dare
no,
they?
I didn't
Yeah,
say
go
that.
I
ahead,
don't
you
think he's-
baby.
I don't
Go
think he's
ahead,
saying that.
Go ahead, talk to BT.
I don't think he's saying that.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Listen,
Steve.
listen, Volpe, right? He plays ball since he's 5 years old. He's a good hitter. He bet 600 in high school.
Yeah, everybody
He's
does in
using
high school. Yep.
He's using an aluminum bat, right?
Yep.
He goes to the minors. They switch him to a wood bat, right?
Uh-huh.
And they said, "Oh, you batted 600, but we're going to make you a home run hitter." Uppercut
Uh-huh.
with a wood bat. I'm going to bat 200. You're going to hit 20 homers? Yeah. So he goes back to his old ways.
Yep.
Now he's hitting 300.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
I
that's what I'm
don't. I
talking
didn't
about.
see him. Thanks for the call there, Steve. I didn't see him at Del Barton. So I didn't. I mean, I know what he did there statistically with him and Leiter. By the way, Leiter just got called up. Congrats to Al Leiter. Jack got the call. It's fantastic. So I don't know what his swing path was when he was playing Seton Hall Prep at Del Barton. I don't know, or Bosco. I do know that the young man went in the laboratory this winter and fixed it. And you see that little pre-swing routine where he kind of does something with his bat to kind of trigger that more flat plane, if you will, to keep it in the zone. But he had a rough night. Struck out every time, and he looked fair. I'm like, if last night was the first night that you watched the Yankees and saw Anthony Volpe play, you would say to yourself, "Good God, this young man is overmatched." But we know that that's not the case. It's baseball. Rough night. Love him. Stud.
It does say something. First of all, Kikuchi looked great, but
Yep.
it does say something about the philosophy of some of these teams where they try to change hitters. It drives
can't.
me up a wall.
Yeah.
You're successful. You get to that point, then they say, yeah, more uppercut swing.
I know.
Like, how does Anthony Volpe, who's at the major league level, have to go back to basics?
What the 10U ball is? What
Well,
he did at 10U? No, I
they
know.
screwed him up.
Yeah. It's a really good point. It's like imagine.
They do it with pitchers, too. Same thing. Like, oh,
They
don't throw
do.
this, or you should be throwing this. Like, no, stick to what got you there.
Yeah, I'm less bothered by changing pitch patterns because it's not a deviation from mechanics. Like the Yankees did this with Montgomery. You know, they wanted him to pitch a certain way. Other teams allowed him to pitch a certain way. Guess what? The other teams were right. But I think that when you look at the overall coaching and teaching and just the infiltration of crazy video and just ultra attention to stuff, just to be an athlete, man. At the end of the day, do what got you there. Swing the bat, run, hit, throw, shoot, tackle, do it, and just do it freely. Now, there's got to be some discipline, clearly, but Volpe's not alone. I'm not saying that the Yankees ruined him last year, but they definitely had some influence, and I don't think it was good early on. And they're not alone. Every team does this.
BT and Sal on the fan. Yanks got some issues. We're here to talk about it. 877-337-6666.
The Yankees face the Blue Jays in Toronto